ready, Blake?
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
What does it feel like to be coming down to the end of the season here?
It feels good going into conference and hoping just for some good marks at conference to qualify for nationals.
What do you feel like you need to do individually to give yourself the best chance to have the best performance you can at the MIAA Championships?
Take it step by step. Just compete with poise, and if things don't go my way, it's on to the next event.
How do you maybe balance, obviously, focus on what you're doing in your events, but just the team aspect of something like this to make sure the team is where you want them to be at this time of the year?
The multi started off. We're the first ones to step it on the field and compete, and I think it's just a good momentum kind of swayer as the rest of the guys get out there on the track and the field.
Thank you. Vince.
For you, man, has it kind of this season flown by for you, and you trying to cherish it all at the same time?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a fifth-year senior with another year of eligibility, so I'm looking forward to coming back next year and just continuing to make some gains on the progress. It's definitely flown by. We're already here at conference season, but it's been I look back on all the hard work, and it's definitely been paying off.
I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but obviously you guys have the NCAA tournament as well at your guys' place, and just to be able to see the progress of your program, yourself, your teammates, and obviously hosting that big event. Is that what's cool about going to Emporia State as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been up and down through the last couple of years, and it's exciting to see so many people qualify, hit provisional marks, and just the progress that the team has made as we look forward to hosting nationals this year.
One last thing for me quickly, for your event, not many people do that event. A lot of people, there's obviously so many things in track and field, but for your event specifically, how do you prepare for it? What are things that go into it for you to obviously be third in MIAA right now?
It's a grind. We got 4 to 6 hour practices, like 2 or 3 times a week. There's not many off days, and if it's an off day, it's kind of just hitting some light event work. But it's nice to be able to compete with the other teammates. Be able to push those, be pushed by those event specific guys and ladies as well, and just it's something that you just got to take with stride and prepare for bit by bit.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Landon, do you have anything?
Yeah, just one for me, and I'll probably ask everyone this, but what's year one under Mischke been like for you?
It's been great. I've personally enjoyed it a lot. He's got a lot of good insights with all of the different events. His background as a multi and a decathlete has been invaluable. So he kind of knows how to guide Payson, our head multi coach, into some of the progressions on what events we should be doing, and gives great feedback when he's coaching the events.
One-on-one, you in his heyday, who's taking the crown?
Well, I mean, he was a D1 athlete. With Emporia being D2, there's just he might take the crown, but right now I don't think he could lace up the spikes. So.
All right, thank you, Ben.
Yep.
Going into the event, do you feel anything additional in terms of pressure going in as the number 1 ranked guy in your event into the championships?
No. Well, I mean, I try not to think about it. Let me put it that way. Once people start thinking about it, they start getting in their heads. So I always talk to X. I'm always like, I get on the track, I'll lock in for the race, but once I'm off the track, I don't pay any attention to it. So.
Well, with your mind not on that, what do you try to put your mind on? What are the things that you do try to think about when you're not on the track?
My next steps in life. So this past year I've been applying to optometry school. Got accepted into that. So kind of just setting that stuff up. That's kind of the main stuff.
For hurdles specifically, is there anything that you work on, like you said, in your own time to try to maintain where you're at in the conference?
From like a technical standpoint, I really try to work on loosening up my hips, stretching out, that sort of thing. What else? Other than that, just kind of the mindset piece of it, making sure I get in there and I attack the hurdle, that sort of thing.
You obviously coming down to postseason time now. Is there anything more to meets like this that you just try to take it like it's another competition?
I just kind of take it as another competition. Like I said, I don't try to pay too much mind to it. Otherwise, I'll kind of get in my head and psych myself out.
Vince.
Obviously, as you just mentioned, these events are awesome. You get to compete against, obviously, guys and all that you competed with for probably the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Is that what kind of helps the mindset a little bit? Because obviously you're competing with people that you competed with, and you kind of, their regiment, and you kind of know what to expect at the same time?
Oh yeah. When we show up to meets and everybody starts warming up at the same time, you start chopping it up with dudes I've ran against for 4 years. So it's always good to see those familiar faces, and you kind of do get into that routine, and you start to notice and become familiar with their routine, so like when the best time to approach them is, that sort of thing. But it's always good seeing those guys.
That's it for me, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Landon.
How much does a 400-meter hurdle suck, man? Because I know that event blows.
Well, obviously I'm biased. I'll take the 400 hurdles over an 800 any day of the week. But I don't know, it's definitely one of those things you kind of just have to suck it up. You know what you're getting yourself into when you line up in the blocks. So, but once you do it once, you're like, oh, I can do it again. So.
Yeah. Where's optometry school at?
I'm going to UMSL, the University of Missouri St. Louis.
Gotcha. Cool. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
And then just lastly, what's year one with Coach Mischke been like?
Coach Mischke, he's been great. I really liked him coming on the team. He very knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about. So to have that, you do a rep, you're kind of like, I don't know how it really felt. You can go talk it up with him. He'll kind of guide you into coming up with, your next step in terms of how to better yourself, whether it be from a technical standpoint, a mental standpoint. So he's been great. I've really enjoyed him.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Would you win your intramural championship in?
This was in 5v5 basketball last year. So, yeah, we're a little washed this year, but last year. So, okay.
Well, for you, coming into the championships off of a win at the Rock Chalk Classic, how much confidence are you feeling right now?
That's a big confidence boost, not being able to run the last 3 weeks with a hamstring injury and coming off that and having a big PR like that and winning at Rock Chalk was a real good feeling. There were some D1 schools there, and anytime you get to run against the D1 schools and trying to prove yourself as a D2 athlete, it's a good win. So coming off that was very, very good and a good confidence boost for me, and really exciting because it was my first time breaking 14. So hopefully the win holds up next time, but really, really happy about the breaking 14.
And then when you are going into the MIAA championship, because of you guys' geography and just the stature of the program, you guys get to go and run in some pretty big races, Kansas relays.
Right.
How do you feel like being in big atmosphere, big track atmospheres like that help you when you're going into the MIAA championships and hopefully into the national championships as well?
I mean, I think it helps tremendously. Big athletes, they perform in big events. So if you were one of those guys or one of those gals who perform very well at a high level and you've been running well at high meets, then when it comes to those meets like nationals and conference, it's like Jake said, it's just another meet for you. Of course, everybody around you is talented as well, but you've been doing what you've been doing all season, dropping the talent you have. You're ready to go. You're confident, and you're ready to dominate.
What's your preparation to kind of just for the hurdles itself? Was there a time for you when you knew that was going to be your event that you did? When was that for you?
I'd say like my sophomore year of high school. My older brother, he really pushed me to do it. I didn't want to do it at first, believe it or not. I did not want to be a hurdler. I was very scared to just fall in front of people and embarrass myself. So my brother looked at my legs and he was like, bro, you have to do it. You have those long legs. Like, you're just built for it. And I said, you know what, let me just take it to the chest and try it out. And, I did it and I had immediate success. It wasn't like the greatest success, but I did pretty well. And from there, as soon as I knew I had something with it, I said, if I can just grind it out and become the best version of this, I can probably be great at it. And here we are now. shining and being the best I can. So around like my sophomore year.
Did it take long for you to just, I guess, embrace that this is what you're going to do, or was it kind of?
It took like about a year. It took a year to do it. At first, I was kind of like, like I said, just didn't want to fall. The falling in a public setting was the scary part about it. I wasn't even like extremely great at first, but seeing guys who were, when I was, like I said, a sophomore at the time, seeing other seniors doing really well and getting the attention that they were getting, and knowing that they was getting scholarships off of it too, made me really want to be better at it and push myself. Kansas City we had a hold on the hurdles just because there was a rivalry in high school of St. Louis and Kansas City, and I wanted to be that guy from Kansas City that represented well. So it drove me to want to get a scholarship and represent my city well. Yeah, Derwin.
Could he go over a hurdle?
Nah, he can't get over no hurdle. Nah, he can't do it.
Vince, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, you're right.
I know, from what I remember, did you play football like your freshman or sophomore year?
Yeah, I played football my freshman, sophomore year. Absolutely loved it. Love Coach Higgins. I still love the guys who are still around when I was here. Even some of the young guys I've met, I love them too. Big football guy. Yes, sir.
So let me ask, does that, or when you go, when you transition from football to the track and doing those kind of events, does that footwork that you have to learn in football, depending on, I think you were a defensive back or some on the defense,
right?
Did that footwork maybe kind of help you with the hurdles? I know hurdles is running straight through, you have to jump over, obviously, but did that help maybe at all in that transition for you?
I think it helps a lot. Being quick, hurdles is about being quick and powerful. And as a DB, you have to be pretty quick with your feet. So doing a lot of those DB drills, making you react very fast, and it's also a reaction thing to the hurdles. If you can react the quickest, then you'll probably beat the guy next to you. So, reacting to the ball is another thing that helps. Just doing the DB skill drills that make you have to have them lightning fast feet really helped me, I think, and it translated to the track. And as we see, it's helping to this day.
Awesome, man. That's all I got. Thanks so much.
For sure.
Landon.
Why is 14 seconds the mark that you've been chasing, and how long have you been chasing it?
I've been chasing this since high school, for a while now, and it's I think you can ask any hurdler who does like the 110s. I think that getting under 14 makes you feel like you're one of the elite. Like it's like that elite classification for hurdlers. For us, like as a sprinter, if you go under 11 seconds, you kind of get that confidence that I'm elite. Or if you're an 8 guy, if you break the 2-minute barrier, you kind of feel like I'm elite. For hurdlers, that under 14 barriers, that you're stepping into that elite conversation and gives you that confidence of like, maybe I can get into that pro conversation if I keep dropping these times. Maybe I can get into the, running at the U.S. trials or something like that if I keep dropping the times that I can. So yeah.
Elite, love it, man. Appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, it's Ty Anderson. He's 5th in the 100 and 6th in the long jump.
On a match day when you're going out and you've got different events that you have to manage, how do you manage how you kind of get set for your event day when you've got multiple events that you're competing in?
Most days it is long jump and sprints on the same day, so it will conflict with each other a lot of times, and most of the time I don't warm up near as much after my first event because I don't really need to. I'm already fresh, good to go for long jump or 4x1 or the 100. It doesn't really matter, but they do always conflict with one another, and I feel like a multi some days, just going from one event to the other, back to the other, because you'll have prelims and finals in almost every event I do. So
how do you keep yourself mentally focused? Is there a way that you have to focus differently depending on what event that you're doing?
Definitely. For sprinting, it's just straight mechanics, make sure I get warmed up properly, and then just make sure blocks are good, and then my drive phase is fine, and then the rest, I've done since I was 12, so. And then long jump's definitely more technical. It's make sure you get out right, make sure you hit the board correctly, make sure when you're in the air you're not rushing through your phases, and Payson does a really good job of making me stay confident and stay relaxed while jumping, because I have more than one attempt to do it compared to running. You only get one shot, so.
I guess how long have you been doing both events for, and was there a time where you, just accepted that, this is just the way it's going to be, I'm going to have to learn how to balance both
I've been doing running and long jump since high school. I was always, able to jump pretty high, and my high school coaches thought either high jump would be good. Tried high jump for a couple weeks, did not work out nearly as what I thought it was going to be. So switched to long jump and triple jump, and that worked out pretty well. I had great success early, and since then it's just been long jump always, and sprinting came with strength and age. Just as I got older, I got stronger, and so I got quicker.
And maybe was there a time where you just realized this is going to be something you're going to have to balance, both events in the same day at when you're competing?
Yeah, as I signed on for Emporia, I was a sprinter, and they, knew about my jumping history in the past, and Blocker, said we could explore that, and then Mischke really took advantage of it this year, and we've done pretty good with it so far, so I think I'll continue doing it.
And how cool is it to be able to do both, at the conference meet?
It is great because at times I get comfortable only sprinting or only doing long jump practice, so doing both or doing one day and then the other another day, it keeps me fresh and ready for conference.
Vince.
All right.
Long jump, man. That's always a tough event. Got to keep the legs going and everything. So let me ask you this: are you obviously you don't want to? Of course you love the PR, right?
Yeah.
But when you go into these meets and you are in different events, how do you stay fresh? How do you maybe not think about the other event that you have to do? Focus on that one. How do you kind of balance it when you're doing two different events at the conference championships?
Yeah, I won't lie, I do think about it, on the bus. I think about what I'm going to do running-wise and jumping-wise. I have a plan in my head, and then once I kind of put my headphones in and I get ready to warm up for one event, I'm locked in for that one singular event. I don't think about anything else until I get done, and I give myself, a couple minutes, catch my breath, and then evaluate how I did in that event and what I could have done better. And then I eventually focus on the next event. Okay, how am I going to attack this? Let's get a plan with the other coach, because I do work with two different coaches for the two different events I do.
I'll ask you a fun one. When you said you put your headphones in and you focus on each event, is there a certain artist or person or song that you listen to kind of get you pumped up and relax at the same time?
That's pretty tough. Recently, it's been Gunna. Not going to lie, it's been Gunna or Future definitely recently, so those two artists are my top ones right now.
I like that. That's all I got, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Landon, and also with Ty on 4x1.
Well, you had the additional activity of going through spring football for and also trying to run track as well. So how do you feel like spring football went for you and trying to balance football with track and field?
Yeah, the big thing is always, just finding that balance. I always, before track season starts and spring ball starts, getting with Coach Higgs and our new receivers coach, Coach Chavis, just finding and talking, finding the times where I could go to meetings and miss meetings and go to track practice. So just finding that, balance is big. And I think spring ball went great overall. I feel like I made a big jump, big improvement from, playing multiple positions and things like that. So I think it was a real good spring ball in general.
How does it feel when because your game is built on speed on the football field, whether you're a running back or you're a slot receiver, wide receiver. How does it feel when you get on the track and you're running no helmet, no equipment, no shoulder pads? How fast do you feel?
Yeah, it definitely you definitely feel really fast. You're like, dang, I missed it, especially from going through a whole football season, a whole fall camp, and then you hit that track. You don't have to have no gear, no tape, none of that. So you definitely feel like, yeah, I'm way quicker, I'm way faster and explosive. So yeah.
Ben, on the relays, how do you maybe go about working with the other guys on the relay with you, making sure you're all kind of where you need to be?
We just try to, just be on the same page. That's one of the main things, just be on the same page as far as when to get handoffs, when to do block starts, when to meet together. So it really just so much of a chemistry thing, just finding that time to know where we need to be on the same page and, do handoffs and things like that. So communication, really.
Do you feel like you're running your best, I guess, at the right time of the year down the stretch?
I definitely think we're getting there. We got, some things to work on as far as handles and stuff, but as far as, just running strictly, yes, I think we're right where we need to be.
Vince.
Hey, man, does Coach Higgins like you running track like that?
he likes it. He likes it, but you could definitely feel when he be like, I need you here for this football and that. But I mean, he likes it. From what he tells me, he say he loves it. So yeah, but we just communicate through it all, and he's fine with it.
Absolutely. And for you, when you're another one that does two different events,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do to kind of help prepare yourself? Not think too far ahead or think about the other event. How do you kind of prepare, and we'll go through that for you?
Yeah, I like to take it, just like one race at a time. If it's time for 4x1, locking on a 4x1, lock on, my blocks and my handoff, and then if it's the 100, lock on, the phases of the race, the block starts, the mid part, and then the finish. So just taking it one step at a time, and being locked in on that event that you're running.
Now, do you have a favorite artist that you listen to before every?
I listen to a couple. I kind of go between plays. It just depends on the day, If it's morning, I try to maybe do it chill a little bit. But, if it's like, evening or something like that, I try to, turn it up a little bit. So right now I listen to like Boss Man, D-Lo, 21 Savage, things like that.
Good. Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
I like it. Thanks, man. That's all I got. Thanks so much.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Landon?
I know you guys are teammates, but in the Open 100, how badly do you want to beat Ty?
Oh yeah, every time we line up, in the finals, we tell each other good luck. But when that on your mark comes, you locked in. You like, yeah, we enemies right now. So really bad, yeah.
Awesome. That's all I got. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Trendon Collins, he's fourth in the high jump.
How do you feel like in your event this year, you've also split time with football? How do you feel like your jumps have been this year?
I feel like they've been pretty good. Having to go over from football to track has definitely been a challenge, but been able to balance it out well.
What do you feel like is the biggest challenge of going to spring football practices? I know you guys have meetings, you guys will watch film, and also trying to balance that with the demands of being an elite level MIAA conference high jumper, as well as just trying to be a good student athlete at the same time.
You just gotta find a way to manage your time with sports and school. I've kept a timesheet of when I have to go to football and when I need to work on homework and stuff. So with that, it's been helpful. So.
How does doing the high jump help you in football, and then how does maybe football help you in high jump?
High jump helps me with explosiveness. So I feel like that's one for football, and then football to track or high jump is just conditioning. So that's one big thing.
High jump help you go up and win the post corner and go up and get it.
Yeah, that's one thing too.
Vince.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have nothing. You're all good.
Good?
He's there.
Landon?
Well, what's more impressive, a freshman catching 80-yard touchdown passes or a freshman being fourth in the MIAA in high jump?
I'm really not sure. I think it's kind of close. About even.
Which one's more difficult, do you think?
I want to say high jump because it's a whole bunch of technique that goes into it once you hit that 6'10"-ish mark. So, yeah.
Did you know you'd be this successful in both this early on?
Definitely not this early on. I've always had confidence in myself, but I never knew that I would excel this much coming in as a freshman.
Awesome. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Better athlete out of Moultrie, Oklahoma. You or Brandon Gleason?
Definitely be. I mean, I might be biased, but.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So, we're just hating on you, KB. Coming off of, good to talk to you again. Coming off of a injury, how does it feel to be in this position, to be here, and you're going to the MIAA Championships and having success coming off of that?
Yeah, it's great to be back. Like I said, I'm coming off of an injury, so I didn't get to be in this position last year, and we were really setting up to run well last year, so it's nice to just get to exceed those expectations this year, and I'm super excited to be back.
With the week off last week that you took, missing the Rock Chalk Classic to get you set up for this week, how do you feel like you have responded, your body has responded to the rest that you had?
Yeah, I think it's set me up for just good success. I feel fresh. I feel ready to go. And then on the mental side of things, I got to just spend time with family, which is far and few between. So mentally, I feel ready, and physically, I'm feeling well rested.
And then obviously in track and field, everything's an individual kind of aspect, individual sport. But do you guys have a team kind of concept or mindset going in? Because you guys are also competing not just for individual honors, but you guys want to win a team championship as well.
Yeah, it is very individualized, but I feel like within our specific events groups, we are very team oriented. So the hurdlers, we all got each other's backs. We're all training together. We're there every day. It really is just as much of a team sport as it is an individual sport.
You, I guess, kind of off of what you said, but for the hurdles, just kind of how do you maybe go about, maybe like you said, come up with the injury too from last year, to get to where you are right now to be ready to go for this time of year?
Yeah, it's been challenging. I've really had to listen to my body. I like to push my limits, so just kind of stepping back and really zoning in on what can I do, what can I not do, what's going to benefit me, how much more do I need to rest, just asking a lot of those hard questions where I really just like to go, go, go. So it's been tough at times, but I think it's benefited me because I've been able to run some really good times this season, which I'm really thankful for.
And do you, are you able to, I guess, just take this as another race versus going into postseason, it's a bigger, do you try to not make it bigger than it is, or just take it as another race?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I definitely just take it as just another race. I don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it, just go into it mentally prepared. I know I'm physically prepared for the race, and I know it'll be a good race because we'll be competing against all the top girls in the MIAA, so it's going to be a good race. I'm really excited for it, and I'm ready to go out there and run.
Vince.
Hey, Abigail, I asked a couple of guys, how you prepare and stuff like that. I ask you this everybody. When you do two different events, if you like doing two events, is it better doing one event? How do you look at that stuff?
Yeah, I love doing two events. My first couple years here, I was a heptathlete. So I did the indoor pentathlon and then the outdoor heptathlon, which was a lot of different events. At one meet, I had a 10-event weekend. So going from competing in numerous events to two events has been great. It's easier to keep my mind focused on the things I need to focus on without having to have too much going on. So for me, two events is great. It's not too much because I've done a lot of events in the past, and I feel like that's prepared me well in a lot of areas.
That's all I got. Thanks so much.
Landon, I'm sorry.
He was going to skip you.
I was like, okay.
I asked Jake this, but just how much does the 400 hurdle suck?
I have a biased opinion. I like it better than an open 400, which is not, very unpopular. I mean, it's a tough race, but I've been running that type of race for a long time. I ran the 300 hurdles in high school, and for some reason, it's just always been one of my favorite races. I feel like it just has a special place in my heart, and you get through the pain, and it's worth it. So to me, I really love it, honestly.
Yeah, you're psychopaths for that. Forgive me if I'm talking on a turn here, but I believe the 400 hurdles and then the 4x4 are a couple of the last events at the meet. How do you go about your day schedule-wise and mentally knowing that you got to sit and wait for hours on end before you get to do anything at all?
Yeah, so like I said, I did the combined events in the past, which was go, 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 all day. I didn't get a rest. So it's been fun to try and navigate through that this year. I try not to really mentally zone in until about an hour, 2 hours before the race, and then I'll really start to zone in. But I really just enjoy my day, cheer my teammates on during the morning, make sure I'm staying out of the sun, staying on my feet, just doing what I need to do all day because, I will be sitting there just about all day until I compete. So that can be a challenge, but I make it work.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, gauge your excitement level and the excitement level of your team to be at the conference championships.
I'm super excited. Our girls have worked so hard, and I'm actually super excited to be back on the 4x4. I wasn't on it for indoor. I was kind of being a weenie and didn't want to run it, and I was also out for most of indoor due to concussion. So,
What was it about the 4x4 that you missed the most?
I think I missed. I don't know, because I usually did not like the 4x4, but I think this year getting in on as the anchor, because I usually was leading off, and it gave me so much anxiety. I hated leading off. I just hated coming out of the blocks. I hated setting the tone, but being that anchor this year and being able to, chase girls down and get us into first was just an adrenaline high, and I absolutely love it.
I was going to say, what made you come back to it? Was it team?
Yes, I really loved being moved to the anchor. At first, I was like, I don't know, I've never ran anything. Like, even in high school, I was the first leg. So being that fourth leg, I was kind of being like, okay, what are we doing here? That's fine. But I just listened to Coach, and it benefited us. So, yeah.
And just how do you maybe bonding with your relay teammates? Just how's that kind of gone throughout the year?
Oh, it's been great. I feel like as a team, we've bonded a lot. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Sorry. No.
Thank you. Vince.
He's me.
His picture's gone. He's there, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Vince, you there?
Vince, is the Olive Garden going? Landon, go ahead.
LC, I've seen the videos. How do you plan on not falling on the track?
Okay, you know what? Since we've had the brand new track, I have not fallen once this year. So, no, that I just need to get my mind right. And also, I just feel like, you know what? Shout out to Coach Ski, and my sprint mechanics are 10 times better than they were before. So there's no falling for me this year. So.
Serious question. How has it been year one under Coach Ski?
I've actually really loved it because he's really focused on the technical side of track. I feel like we do a lot more sprint drills this year than we have in the past, so I think that and all has made me a better sprinter. So.
Awesome. That's all I got.
Alrighty.
Vince, you back with us?
I don't think so.
All right.
What's it like running with Lauren and the rest of the girls on your team? What kind of camaraderie do you have in the relay team?
Oh my gosh. I think honestly I was just reflecting on this and thinking about how much of a blessing it was to be able to run with these girls and be able to run alongside Lauren throughout these past couple years at practice and really just competing against each other all the time. It's really fun.
Is there a different mindset that you have to go in? Because obviously in your events you're trying to just go fast, but is there a difference when you're working with another 3 people out there on the track to try to get around the track together versus just navigating yourself up and down the track quickly?
Yeah, I think having those 3 other people makes running a lot more fun, and it makes me a lot more at ease just to go out there and have fun and win with other people instead of an individual run. It's a lot more intense. You get in your head and things like that, but it is still really fun. So.
Yes, actually, when you're doing multiple events along the, how do you maybe go about pacing yourself to reach the event that you do throughout the day?
Sorry, can you say the question again?
Just, I guess, do you focus one thing at a time when you have multiple events to do a day like that?
Yeah, I definitely am focusing on one thing at a time. I am excited though for the next thing. I'm always excited after I get done with the 4x1 to run the 100, to run the 200. I just think I focus on how excited I am to be even running it all. So, yeah.
And how excited are you to kind of come down the stretch for MIAAs, and do you feel you're maybe running your best right now, or where do you stand with that?
Yeah, I think that I definitely am running the best I ever have, which is a great feeling. But I think it's going to be important just to be able to carry that mentality into the next meet, the MIAA, and just, going out there and having fun and just being explosive and visualizing my race is definitely a thing that keeps me going and keeps me, I feel like, in peak performance. So.
Okay, Vince, are you back? Landon, you're up.
I think so.
Oh, Vince is still there. Okay.
I'm I'm here. Sorry, now I'm at our station. I have terrible connection. I am so sorry. I did not catch your name, but I feel so bad when I asked.
Ashley Wilderman in the 100, 200, 4x1.
Okay, so you got 3 events. Okay, buddy, this question you have now. What's that competition?
SDA connection's still not real good.
Is it?
Yeah, we're having troubles. If you want to just text it to me and I can ask and let Landon go ahead now.
Sounds good.
Landon, are you still there?
His picture's gone.
Yeah.
He's still on the call, but his video's not on.
What's your 100 Mischke been like?
Sorry, say again.
What's your
I apologize that I'm having trouble now too, but what's your 100 Mischke been like?
I don't know.
What's the first year under Coach Mischke been like?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think that has been great. I love the way that Coach Mischke does things. I love focusing on the sprint mechanics and just doing a lot of quick, explosive drills rather than kind of endurance based, which I feel like we did a lot last year, or I did a lot last year, and I think sprinting strictly at practice has been a big thing for me.
Balance 3 events when they could be spread out throughout the day.
I feel like the events I run, it's truly a blessing that they're not so close together. I feel like I run and then I get a little bit of time to like recover and still be warm and not have to fully warm up again and really exhaust myself, which is good. But yeah, I think just pushing myself and being excited for the next race is really just my mentality towards everything.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
All year you've kind of been the favorite. How do you feel pressure from that, putting out good distances all year, especially in the shot put, going all the way back to the indoor season? You had a great indoor season. You performed well in the outdoor as well. Do you feel pressure going into meets as one of the favorites each time that you step up to throw?
I feel like there is a little bit of pressure, but also I just have to realize that it's mostly just a competition with myself. And so most of the pressure basically comes from me. And yeah.
What adjustment do you make when you have to, because obviously, throwing shot put is one thing, javelin's a way different kind of a throwing motion. How have you tried to add that in and, add that as part of your event day when you're out throwing the javelin, which is something you don't do in the indoor season?
So I kind of don't focus on jav during my indoor season because it's not an indoor thing, but it's always kind of just like been with me, so it's not as hard to transition. But I practice it on as much as I do shot put, and I think it's just mentally, since I've done it for like a year or 2 now, that it's kind of just like within, and I just have to like do it.
Do you, I think do you, going into MIAA's coming up here, do you treat it just as another event, or is there anything extra to postseason time? Do you just try to block that out and treat it like another meet for you?
Yeah, I try not to like dwell on it being like a big meet. I think if you do, then it kind of just adds to the pressure, and then like will kind of make me more nervous. So I just treat it as an every week.
How do you, knowing you've competed with a lot of these, I guess these girls in the conference throughout the season, again, do you just view it as more of a competition with yourself, or do you kind of know who you're going to, do you look into who you're going up against, or do you just focus on yourself?
You always like take into consideration the people that you're competing against, but also like I do focus more on competing with myself, but I also want to have that little competition with the other athletes.
Vince.
Hey there. Just probably one thing for me. When you are competing, I've asked a lot of the different athletes as well. When you compete in 2 different events, do you have to prepare differently? Do you have to say something to yourself? Because obviously I'm assuming you probably have 2 different coaches that you talk to as well, and there's different techniques that go into it. How do you prepare for 2 different events, really 2 really different events, every single time you go out there?
I kind of just have like a routine for each event. So shot put, I do stuff that I would normally do at practice, and then jab, I have more stretches, because I have to be more flexible. So there's just like certain things that I do for certain events, and luckily I do have Trimble for both of them, so she understands me for both events.
You know, one last thing, and I know I like asking this question too. I know weather obviously can play a factor, and especially sometimes in your events if it's raining or if it's cold or if it's warm. Can you adjust to that at all, or can you or can you not?
You can. There's just like certain factors that you have to play into. Like if it's cold, you need to stay warmer for certain things, and then if it's warmer, then you just kind of have to adjust to what the weather is.
That's all I have. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You're in a unique spot here because you won the thing indoors, but you're like 5th now in the rankings. Is that kind of a sweet spot to be at? Because you can feel pressure, but you don't have to feel too much pressure. But then the other people know, hey, this is the person we're chasing after too.
Yeah, I think I kind of like being a little bit farther just because it's just easier. Again, like I have a goal that I want to reach, but also like if not as good as I was, then so.
Good job.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
5th in the discus in the MIAA.
Well, going into this, you had a fairly good mark at the Rock Chalk Classic. What allowed you to have that success up in Lawrence?
Well, I would say that when I hit the bigger, like I hit a 46 at Pitt, that really encouraged me because I was like, oh, I can do this. Like I can go even further. And so I had like a little off week, and so I trained even harder with Kelsey, and we talked about just going back to the basics and really just focusing on the basics. And so when I went to the Rock Chalk Classic, it was just focus on the basics, like you know what you need to do, and that really helped.
How much strategy goes into what you have to do with a foul sport, obviously with needing to throw it inside certain lines, not stepping over the line, in terms of when you really want to go for a big throw or deciding, I need to get one in play here to give myself some confidence? How does that go about with the throws that you have in your event?
I mean, I guess every time that I step in the ring, I want it to be a big throw. Like my focus is to just go in there and do everything that I need to do to throw far. When it's windy, I would say that there's like certain adjustments that if I want to keep it in the sector line, if there's different crosswinds, then you just shift over in the ring to like allow for a better angle with the wind.
Do you, I guess, know who you're competing with going into any event like MIAA? You probably don't know within the conferences. You just try to focus on what you can control and do what you can.
I would say I mainly focus on what I can control because I'm my biggest competitor, and I don't want to compare myself to anybody else because I can only do what I can do. But I definitely know who my biggest competition is going into the meet, but I try not to let that affect me.
And is there anything extra to this, or do you just treat it as another event, not worry about MIAA or anything like that?
I would say that this year my main focus is just to treat it as another track meet because I feel like last year I maybe let the pressure get to me. I was ranked like 8th, and I just let that pressure get to me a little bit more than it should have, and I've just learned to just treat it like another meet.
I guess has that experience of being there before, what'd you learn, I guess, just going into this one, just maybe that's what it was, just treat it like another meet?
Yeah, just treat it like another meet and don't let the pressure, just go back to the basics and just remember what I need to do.
Vince.
Probably one simple thing for me, if I remember right, I think you were at the Kansas Relays, I believe. And is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure because I was like, you look really familiar because I was grabbing some video around there. So, when you're at these different events and you've competed at these certain events in these different places, does that help with your comfort level, knowing that you've been able to not train there per se, but you kind of know the landscape of where you're going?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. Just every ring's different, obviously. Like the texture is super different. So going to a meet where you've been before definitely helps because you're already comfortable with being there. But I don't mind the element of surprise, like I guess just going there, and I just need to do what I need to do.
And for you, right, I've asked a couple of athletes, there's different ways that everybody prepares and, thinks about how they want to go into, certain events. How do you go about that when, you're going to different places, stuff like that? How do you prepare?
I would say the biggest focus just has been going back to the basics, because sometimes I feel like I really get in my head about certain just small tweaks in my whole rotation. So just remembering like to focus on the basics and really do what I need to do.
That's perfect. Thanks so much.
How fun is competing in the MIAA?
So fun. It's like one of the most competitive conferences, so it's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Well, you're wearing your indoor championship T-shirt here for the indoor. Is that something that you guys think about when you have indoor events, of trying to pull off that indoor-outdoor double?
I mean, it'd be really cool. I mean, that was a big goal of mine, was indoor and outdoor conference champion and be indoor and outdoor All-American. So, I'm on that track right now. I got half of it done, so I have to go.
And you are a guy on this team that's got All-American experience. You've done that before. How have you tried to be a leader, and have other, throwers, runners try to come to you and ask you, what it takes to be an All-American? How you deal with that conference championship, and then hopefully for a lot of you guys, national championship pressure?
Yeah, I just try to be a leader. I wouldn't call myself a very vocal leader, but I try to lead with actions, and I try to show people, it can happen, you can get there, because, I wasn't there years ago, and it's taken me a little bit longer than some people, but, I'm here, and I'm, competing at the top, and it's a lot of fun, and I'd like, a lot of people to get to there and, have a successful program here.
Perhaps obviously you've been at this stage a number of times now in your career. What have you maybe learned at each event to know to maybe not make this bigger than it needs to be?
Well, I mean, I try to treat it kind of like a normal meet, but of course, always in the back of your mind, it is the conference championship. That's kind of where they determine the success of your team. So there is a little bit more on it, and you really can't take that away from it. You just have to rise to the occasion and trust in your abilities and your training, and move on forward and take care of business.
What do you feel like, anything you're specifically working on for this, that you just trust, I guess, your process throughout the season?
More or less just trust the process. Yeah, that's one thing that throwing has taught me, that there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and you train the right way and try to make those ups at the right time, which is right here in the championship season. So right now we're just fine-tuning things and ready to launch a big one.
Vince. Hey man, sorry, that kind of looked weird. You probably saw me pop up.
All right.
For you, man, you've been at obviously Emporia State for several years now, and you've kind of been the top dog, if you will, or pretty close to the top dog. And how do you maintain that? How have you been able to just sustain that success, and while also being a leader at the same time, and just going into these events, just knowing that you can still do this every single year?
The main thing is, like I was talking about before, just trust in your training, trust that you're doing things the right way. Work hard, keep your head down, and just have fun. Have fun doing it. It's going to be really hard to stay successful for a long time if you're not having fun, and I'm still having a blast with it, so it's pretty easy for me.
And that coaching change, I know we were talking with some of the other athletes earlier today, with Coach Blocker and then, Coach Mischke. How has that transition been for you as well, where, coaching changes might be difficult, might be easy? What's it been like for you?
It hasn't affected me a whole lot, just because, we're primarily with our event group coach. So, Trimble's just been, my main contact. I don't have a ton of contact with Mischke, but, obviously there is some change, and I know a lot of the guys and girls on the track are, maybe having a little bit different time than I am, but, just not much has changed for me, and so I'm ready to move forward.
One last thing, when you see the athletes that you've competed with for how many years, and do you still yuck it up with them, and still, do they talk trash to you at all or anything like that? Do you have any of that encounters?
Not a lot of trash talk, no. Most of the guys that, I've competed against for a long time are all gone and out of here. It's a new group of, superstars coming up below me, so no trash talk. We have fun, but as soon as that warm-up timer's done, it's game on. It's all business.
That's perfect, man. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
Championships, and not that they all don't matter, but this is the one that really starts to kind of matter for you.
Well, it's the one you, at the beginning of the year, look at, indoor and outdoor. We're going to culminate as a team, talk about point totals more than you ever do at the other meets that we don't really keep score at or don't necessarily care about. So from a point total standpoint. So yeah, it's certainly one that everyone gears up for, not only our team, but everybody else in the conference. So we'd certainly have, I felt, brought a lot of momentum out of the indoor campaign, relative to the conference championship anyway, and how the kids did there. And it really has evolved outside into a really, really cool thing on both gender sides, men and the women. And again, we got a lot of people in a lot of good places, I think, just physically and within their events in terms of where their standing is to maybe do some things this weekend and make some noise.
A lot of the student athletes got asked, what's year one with Coach Mischke been like? What's year one been for Coach Mischke like with the Hornets and Lady Hornets that you've been coaching this year?
Yeah, we had awesome senior kind of recognition team banquet last night. And so a lot of feels in the room, a lot of people getting on the mic and doing their thing. And Coach did an awesome job helping set that up and mainly set that up and then, putting it together. So went smoothly. So we really did get a kind of chance to culminate and talk about some of those things, some of the ideas that we've been pushing this year, and seeing the kids kind of take to that and believe in some of that stuff is awesome. Obviously when you come in to a program that has certainly history and Coach Blocker did a great job, so you're not really wanting to come in here and reinvent the wheel, otherwise you're going to probably break a wheel to a certain degree. So it's like, listen, these people know what track and field is, they know how to operate, and you just kind of take a sense of what it is, and then you make adjustments as you feel needed relative to how you've trained people in the past, and hopefully have a good sense of where the adjustments need to be made and make the right ones at the right time. And so it's been fun.
And we talked a lot when we kind of previewed the season on SMST about, going through, figuring out how to squeeze every single point that you can out of your lineup, both on the men's and the women's side. So based on that and what you've seen, the times that you've seen, and where everybody's kind of ranked, what's your goal for the MIAA Championships? How much do you guys think you can compete on the men's and women's side to win that conference championship? Because you've got some really, really tough competition.
We do. MIAA is our conference is one of the top in the country, if not the top, on both gender sides. So you're competing against the best. We equate our conference championship to a mini national meet, in all respects. So if you're doing some work at the conference meet in the MIAA, that means you're probably a national qualifier, pretty dang close to. And that's a really exciting thing to be a part of, frustratingly so sometimes. But at the end of the day, you better, lace them up and be able to get after it, because they're not going to give it to you. And that's an exciting piece to that scenario. So yeah, I think indoor was solid. Like I said, I think the guys, to their credit, overachieved a little bit. We really had some really nice things happen. Some surprises take place, which is really, really cool in our sport. The ladies banged it out, had some great individual performances, just not quite there relative to a point scoring scenario with some of them, but a ton of PRs, which is always exciting. And again, I think outdoor sets up better for us and our team with a few more events that aren't offered indoor. And so that gives you some more momentum, like, hey, we're a different team outside than we were indoor event-wise, and also we're just in a different place physiologically as well. So yeah, I'm expecting the guys to challenge middle half. Top 5 would be awesome. I think coming off what we did indoor, I think we've got some people in some places to do that. And then the ladies certainly moving themselves into a top 10, top 8 performance, I think is realistic to think about. And again, you got to think about in regard to some baby stepping from time to time. Certainly first year in, and the kids coming off of what they were last year, what they're able to do the last couple of years. You're not going to go worst to first too often. But that's certainly something that we want to think about in terms of our ability to be better from one year to the next, and then at some point just being consistently good, across the board.
Is there maybe anything you learned throughout your first year that you didn't know maybe coming in throughout this group?
In general, I would say, coaching is coaching as far as track and field goes, and I'm sure it's the same with most other sports, but it's just you get a lay of the land, you understand what your resources are, and then you just try to utilize those to the best of your ability, with the people that are helping you. And again, here it's been different compared to the other places I have been as a coach, in a good way relative to that. And so I'm still learning, hey, we can maybe do a little bit more financially. We can go a few different places, and I'm not penny pinching as much as I had to be in my previous years. So again, I think that's a really cool thing, and getting my handle on that's maybe going to take a year or two before I let the strings go a little bit and feel comfortable spending some money and kind of operating at a different level there. So that's probably the biggest thing, in all honesty, is just kind of getting used to having some things that I haven't been able to have in the past, and that's cool.
It's just been the 1 year for you, but what have you maybe learned from this group of seniors that are going to leave their legacy after this year?
Yeah, I mean, seniors are hard to beat. They get to this point, maybe as freshmen, sophomore, you're like, man, I can't wait till senior year. And then by the time they get to their senior, it's like, dude, I wish we had them one more year. I wish we had them one more year with us because they do so much for you. And then that's kind of the same scenario here, especially just hearing stories of how they operated when they were younger and the evolvement of them as individuals, academically, athletically. And then my ability to come in here and just see them as is, they're, like I said, they're definitely a group that we'd love to have back, without a doubt, another year, but that isn't the way the game's played, so you get what you can out of them, you do what you can for them, and then you wish them well and tell them not to be strangers in the future,
Vince?
Hey, Coach, one thing I got for you, John kind of hit on there. When you come into a new program, you have so many different people to, learn and understand and, what makes them tick, what doesn't, or how you kind of, be able to coach them. And so coming into a new season and seeing all, the different men and women that you are, dealing with, and they said that, you're very knowledgeable, all the different things, they know they can come to you. Do you like when you hear that from your athletes, especially in year one, when you as the coach obviously have to adjust all that too?
Yeah, I mean, coaches hear other things, that they don't like, and so anytime it's good and positive and energetic, yeah, man, it makes you feel good, and the time and the effort that you're putting in is showing up in how the kids feel, and come the end of the day, that's a huge piece to their success level, and it's a full family kind of package kind of feel, and you need everybody involved on the same page as best we can. To get everything out of everybody, and that includes coaches and coaching staff. Student athletes you have under you, with you, under you is a bad term, with you in this fight. They can be energetic. They can give you motivation, and this group has done that pretty much from day one in terms of just not fighting anything. Just, hey, this is what we're going to do today, and they're like, all right, let's get it going and get after it and get it done and come back tomorrow. And you just can't ask for more than that, in our world. As far as track and field goes, in terms of picking a sport that, in all honesty, we have to be in peak physical condition, and that's not fun sometimes, but that's our world, and you either own that up and get after it and deal with that, or you probably don't do well at the end of the day. And I think our kids have bought into that, prior to this year. Certainly, they've been doing track and field for a long time, so they know the gig, and you just, like I said, try to make sure that they are healthy, feeling good at the right time so they can produce.
That's all I got, Coach. Thanks so much for your time.
You bet. Thanks for the question.
Landon, you got anything?
Yeah, Coach, like they said, asking all the athletes how they felt in year one under you, obviously with you around there, they're not going to trash you, but listening to the inflections in their voices, it kind of felt like they didn't know what to expect coming in, but shocked as to how well it's been. To know they've really bought into you and have enjoyed year one under you, how's that feel as a coach?
It feels nice. You hope you're doing something for 27 years like I have. You have it somewhat figured out, but you never know. You should be always in a situation to continue learning and from all those around you. And athletes are part of that package, like I said. So, again, when you hear it and more so feel it, I felt like we got pretty confident with each other in the fall. And things were going smoothly, and kids were just having fun and showing up every day. At that point, it's like, hey, we got some stuff going here. That transition period was a little smoother maybe than it has been in the past at other places for myself and other coaches. But when it happens, that quick, middle of the fall, where it's like, okay, we got some stuff going here, some energy, some mo. And the kids are in, then we can focus on the real stuff, as opposed to trying to figure out, hey, is there an environment I have to change here? Are there pieces of this puzzle that are going to take more than a year to get figured out? And when you walk into a situation where environment in general has been good, effort level's been good, dedication level's been good. It's like, listen, that's great, because now we don't have to really focus on that. We just keep enhancing that, and we can get after the training and the technical side of the events in track and field, and try to be better in that manner.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, appreciate it.
One quick thing, just track's a different sport because sometimes you have leagues and teams that concentrate on the conference, sometimes they concentrate on the national level. I know in the RMAC it seems like they lie towards the national maybe more than the conference. What's it like in the MIAA where you got teams that are going just all out to win a conference championship, and then in 2 weeks they're going to go all out to win a national championship?
Yeah, I've always been the proponent of your conference championship should be challenging that national championship vibe, in terms of what your goals are, what your efforts need to be placed. And if you can double up and be one of the better ranked in your conference, and then come back and have a great national meet, I think that says a lot about what the issue is, what the situation might be, and just where the mentality is of the coaching staff, coaches, and the student athletes, and trying to rely on one over the other. Is certainly a way to go. It just isn't a way that we're going to go here at Emporia State. We're going to want to be good at conference and then at nationals as well.